Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And as mentioned in the chat room, a little bit under the weather. I had the second dose of the Pfizer on Monday, and yesterday afternoon I started getting the fever and flu-like symptoms, and I woke up, I'm still sick. But it's ADP today, so decided to go ahead and do the webinar. I didn't do the agent analysis yesterday, I guess evening. Because I was, like I said, did have a fever, but let's go on and get started. We'll take a look where things are at. Give me a moment. I kind of moved the screens around, and still an effort to try and, get things right, but it makes it easier actually if everything's on one page for one instrument. So that's why I moved the other one. I'll go in and move for the purpose of this. It'll make it easier to put this one here. Let me go on and move into the euro. So we're still sitting here. We're not really going anywhere in the euro. I'll take a quick review of the cable. A little bit lower in the cable, a little bit of push. And the Aussie, same thing after getting to that 76.14 on Friday, or 76.16, I think it was. We've just been drifting lower after they spent the week really going against the grain, stopping people out, forcing them to cover. We run out of gas on Friday afternoon, and then we've been fading since then. Quiet fade, it hasn't been anything huge. And then dial in, same thing. Also very, very quiet. Definitely summertime trading. Believe me, it is not just summertime trading for FX. I mean, indices have just been absolutely dead. And also the volume is absolutely abysmal. And I'm talking about volume over the last 3 weeks. And yesterday was even worse. Matter of fact, I think they were saying the day before, not yesterday, but the day before, the volume like in the S&Ps was only was like 500 and some odd thousand for the entire session. And normally the low end of the average is 800,000 and the high end of the average is 1.5 million. And in the SPYs, they traded, they didn't even make 39 million. It was already the end of the thing, and I guess there were some trades where it didn't even make 39 million. I mean, that's how, it's just weak. So it's amazing how this thing has tried to float up. I didn't take a single trade yesterday because, boy, there's just no movement. But let's go and take a look at the news. Didn't hit on that, so let me see where we stand here. 2 hours ago, we did get a UK business investment, and that came out as well as GDP. The quarter was down 1.6% for Q1, so it's really late stuff there. Then we did get French consumer confidence. That was at 102. The previous had been 98. Consumer spending was 10.4%. They were forecasting 7.5. Once again, French. And then CPI was up 0.2, French CPI. We move on to the German employment data. That came out about 5 minutes before this top of the hour. That came in at minus 38,000. That was weaker. They were expecting minus 20,000, and the previous one was minus 19K. So, boy, they really lost some. And boy, this euro is not good at all. We did get Italian PPI, but I have not seen that come out yet. And guess he had Swissy Zoo numbers. I don't see that's been updated either. Let me just refresh the screen. Oh, they came in at 51.3 on Zoo expectations for Swiss. Italian CPI comes out at the top of the hour, and then at the top of the hour we also get Eurozone CPI. Last was 0.2, positive 0.2, and coming to the States, we do get, as I said, ADP, also FOMC Bostic will be speaking. But we do get ADP that I was expecting 600,000. Last month it was 978,000. I think they came in pretty close, or not that far away from the non-farm payroll. We also get Canadian GDP at 8:30 Eastern, and at 9:45 Eastern, we do get SHI PMI, Chicago PMI. It's generally just referred to as SHI. SHI PMI, and then at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do get pending home sales. That'll be interesting. And at 9:30 or 10:30 Eastern, we will get crude oil inventory. We have been paying more attention to crude oil. We'll get to that also. With the new micro futures that are going to be released in about another half month, I believe that's going to be a big boon in trading for crude oil. As here in the States, we don't have a CFD, so once again, you either trade the big contract, and they get a little bit expensive, especially with the prices that we're at crude. Even if you use the mini contract, you're giving away 2.5 ticks to get in, 2.5 ticks to get out. That's not good if you're trying to day trade. So I think that you will see a lot of people come into the market with the crude oil features. That is going to debut on July the 12th. So let's go and get started with the analysis. Bear with me. Okie dokie. And let's take a look over here on the NASDAQ. We're still up here at these highs. It's crazy. We finished up here towards the end of the day, and I was even thinking, they probably might even actually, the one who noted that was James. And this thing might, I think Simon was making a comment about it. She said, hey, well, it might fade into the ADP. I'm thinking, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. You can probably just sell at the close. Well, look at this. It's just continued to go higher. Almost it went to 14,598, and we've come off a little bit, but look, we're still holding up very, very, very well. If we go into the S&Ps, let's take a look at what they're at. Okay, you can see here with the S&Ps, and this on 2-hour chart. Look at that. We are still up in the moon. Amazing. Remember yesterday we had, actually from the day before and yesterday, our bias chart resistance was 42.82. So they eventually got higher and got as high as 42.91. But it is just quiet trading. Like I told you, there's just no volume. So, like I said, if it goes higher, that's fine, but at least trade. And they're just sitting there. Look how quiet. I mean, you would think these are 30-minute bars or 15-minute bars. So look at that. We're just not going anywhere. Then we finally make a push, squeezing some people out, and it's just as quiet as can be. So let's go and move back into the other screen for the analysis. Okay. This euro is just not going anywhere. I mean, holy smokes. Let me try and expand this out a bit. We're just simply not going anywhere. But the door's open. Remember, we start at the top of the week with the weekly analysis, and we'll go to a weekly. Once again, I want to do the webinar. Once again, I'm not feeling, too well, but it's ADP, so we may get some decent little movement. So we got this 1836. Now, we didn't quite make it there. So there's a potential that we can come down here and dip. So let's go on in. If we do get a strong ADP, let's go with this bar right here. And that wick comes in at 1810. So let's just go with 1810 in case they go down there and they want to check out those stops. Remember, they didn't quite make it to 1836 last week, but 1836, you can see, is a key weekly level. So I'm thinking they can take those stops out, and then we'll see if they can hold around the 1810, if they break down there. And so we might see, it may not even make it down to 1810, but can see here. Let's go to the daily, see if we can see some resistance. Go with the body right there, and that would be right there, 20.001. That seems like that'd be a bit of a stretch. Let's go with this. These two bars you see here and here, see if we get some confidence. That would come in at, oh yeah, you see the top here, these two wicks, this wick and that wick, you see that? Let's go and just draw that in there. I prefer the body, but if we're going to hit stops and you want to look at the wicks, that would come in right there. 1992. So once again, we're just looking for stretches for the ADP. If we do find some stops, we're still in a bearish. Let's go and move on now to table. Holy smokes. So weak. Same thing here. Let's take a look where we stand here on a weekly. Looks like we could potentially gun those stops. And if we do, here's the top of this wick, these two wicks. That would put us at 37.55. Let's go with that. Sure, that was 37.55. Was at 37.75. There my eyes are playing tricks on me. No, it was right there. Call it 37.58. Take a look at the daily. Had a pretty good steady pullback with this. After we made a run last week to 140 and came up just a shy bit short, and then look, just been fading back. If we do rally, look at this body here, come across there, that would be 39.40. That is a bit of a stretch there. But that would be the key resistance if we could come. That just seems like an awful, awful stretch. Let's go and take a look at a 2-hour chart. I like that better. 38.93 on that 2-hour. 38.93. Because I think even if they rally up, they'll try and sell into it. So 38.93. Let's go to the Aussie dollar. Let's go to the weekly. What a drop, 74.27. Let's look at this week here. That would be huge, 74.58. Let's go with that, 74.58 for support. Once again, we're looking at, in case we get, outsized moves, outsized for what we've been seeing with ADP. Let's go to the daily. I like this. You see this wick here? Confluence with that wick there. You see that? So 75.64. Okay, let's go to the dollar yen. We've been dipping back, but in a very, very quiet fashion. I think they would support this, and this is the best you can hope for, 10.16. That might even be a bit of a stretch, but that's solid right there. If we were to pull back, I'm not sure we can pull that far back. Let's take a look at a 2 hour. Get a little bit of a sell-off here. And NASDAQ as well as S&P. Not much, just a little bit. There we go. It's not much, but let's just go with that 1039. You can see here we are hitting it with a little bit of volume. Come off a bit. Not a whole lot, but yeah, some. 1039. We got upside. Right there. 1084. Actually, it's coming right there, but I think we can see a push, a pause before that. So let's go with that 1084. Let's go move into the cash flow index. We did get past, I think we had 92.11. No, we had 92.31. Okay. What was the high yesterday? 41. Okay. I do like this area right here. You see that? See the bottom right there? So let's go with that. 92. If they do get a little bit more because of some stops, we couldn't do some stops. And if we do, let's go just with that. Keep it simple. 92.51. And for support, we've been holding up very well. So for support, let's go with 91 and 91.61. Not sure we can break that far, but we'll go with that. If it does fall, you know where to cover. Or we would expect some demand to come in. With that, let's go on into Bitcoin. This has actually moved higher. I'm surprised. I mean, it's really kind of faking some people out. The only thing is we just don't have that volatility anymore. As I said, we do move, but we just moved in a very controlled fashion higher and a controlled fashion lower. I'm going to go right there with the wick right here. You see there? And that would be resistance, which would be 36,094 on the upside. And on the downside, right there, if we do break, not saying we're going to do it, I don't think it would happen today, but if we did, it would be 34,067. Now let's go to the ES. We are pulling back a bit. And once again, I have said, be careful with this because, we just don't have any volume here. And if you look at the profile, let's see if I've got regular trading hours or not. Oh, I don't, but still, look at this. Look at these profiles. Look how tight they are. I referenced that yesterday. Look at these ranges here. They're much, wider ranges, yet form pokey. Great. Well, as I said, the ranges have been so tight that really opens the door for us to move lower. You can see, look at these much wider ranges. This is more, if you want to call it, normal to what we've seen. And then if you look in here, look how tight these are. And that really opens the door for us to move much lower. We are at 42.76. That would open the door, at least for right now, to come down here. Let's call it 41.72. Probably really, like I said yesterday, I said 42.67 initial. Let's go with that 42.67. We've got the value area high here. Let's see here. You know what? Let's go right there. You see that? Get the value area high here, 42.63, just under the midpoint of that day, 42.65. And look at the low for the range for that day was 42.64. So I like this, 42.63. See all those touches there coming across? So let's go to 42.63. And here's a POC there. That's 42.53 right there. So I like that. And then on the upside, this is 42.86, and that confluences with the value area high here. So let's go 42.86 on the upside. Let's go take a look at the NASDAQ. Drink of water. Still holding up. Oh, here we go. Dipping back just a little bit on the NASDAQ, but look, this is a 2-hour chart, and look how far we've come. Doggone it. There we go. So yesterday, we had 14.397 and 14.332. It did push even higher yesterday. Let's take a look here. Oh, we do have RTH. So let's go and open this up to the full session. $5.20. If you look here, confluences with nearly the high here. See that? So let's go with 14.520. Then right there. 14,425. You can still break even lower. Look, this one's huge right there, which is going to be 14. Let's call it, that would be huge. 14,350. It could overshoot a little bit. Let's call it 14,350. If we really start to come under some pressure. On the upside, let's go with the value area high here. And that confluence with the high from yesterday, let's just call that 14,590. You see here at 14,400, but maybe with a little bit of an overshoot, that gets down to that 350-ish area. Maybe say 520 right there. You see it? That's 509. So let's call that. We'll keep this at 14,520, but we'll overshoot might get us down to like 15 or 12. Moving in now to gold. Gold is really just hugging these lows. We did make it down to 1750, and we held it. We had yesterday 1751. We're going to keep that. On the upside, it's going to be 1775. And lastly, let's go to crude. Okay, let's take a look where we stand here with crude. We did make it back up to the 73.60. We went further than what I thought. We had 72.84. We came back, but they ran out of gas at 360. Paired back. Don't go and grab the wrong contract. Okie dokie. I like this 72.63. On the upside. Let's go with 73.55. Like I said, I don't know if we'll go make that 46, but 61. Yep, 72.61. And there we have it. There's a bias chart for the day. I'll go and get that posted. Thanks for joining us here on the European crossover webinar, and we'll see you then.